Yeah, Lexi, it's a story that almost sounds too wild to believe. A Charleston man bitten by a barracuda while washing dishes off the back of a boat in the Virgin Islands.
But as strange as this story is, doctors say it really highlights a much more common concern this time of year: boating injuries. Live 5's Katie Kamen has the story just in time for the start of the summer boating season. We do want to warn you that some of the pictures we're going to show you in this story are graphic.
For Brad McQueen, a relaxing dive trip to the Virgin Islands with an old friend turned into a fight to save his thumb.
I had the bowl in my hand and was just churning it up, trying to get all that butter out of the bowl. And when I did, all of a sudden pop came up and a barracuda came up and hit the bowl and with my thumb.
The fish bit straight through his thumb, top and bottom, in a split second.
And I started screaming. There was so much blood just going in every direction at that point in time. I wasn't sure quite how much of a thumb I had left.
McQueen and his lifelong friend, Rusty Day, a dive captain and biologist, had been out all day on a catamaran off St. John. Their weekend had already included a close encounter with a shark, a missing bag of lionfish, and a run-in with another barracuda. But this attack was unlike anything either had experienced.
He screamed, and I thought he was just goofing around. So I went outside to kind of see what kind of shenanigans were going on. There was an awful lot of blood coming out of Brad's hand. So I thought I was going to have some amusing scene. Instead, it was kind of carnage.
They rushed toward St. Thomas, tying off at a marina after hours. But at the emergency room, McQueen faced something perhaps even worse than the bite: the stitches.
I've never had this much pain in my entire life. So finally, I don't know how many times he put a shot in my finger, but he just couldn't get it numb.
The hospital didn't have antibiotics on hand, but what they did have was the wrong advice: wait before seeing a specialist. That's when McQueen made a crucial call to Charleston hand surgeon Dr. Kyle Coco, a friend of Day's, who told him the opposite.
He couldn't bend his thumb, so I was like, that's a tendon, and he wasn't quite sure if he could feel or not, but probably a nerve. Treating that in an urgent way is very important.
McQueen flew home the next day and was in surgery just a few days later.
Pretty ugly injury. The palm side of his thumb was pretty chewed up. I mean, that's where most of the teeth from the barracuda really got him. The tendon just wasn't attached, so it was just sticking like that, and he couldn't bend it.
McQueen's recovery would take months and more physical therapy than he ever expected.
You don't realize how much you need your thumb until you don't have your thumb.
He says he still doesn't have full range of motion, but after peeling 50 pounds of shrimp by hand, he's feeling pretty close.
That's when I realized that I was fully back to full operation. So I feel good about, what Doc was able to do for me. I'm lucky to have my thumb. Researching barracuda mites, he could have easily have taken my entire thumb off.
Barracudas do live in South Carolina, and while their bites are rare, Coco says boating injuries are not, especially as more people hit the water for summer.
Falling off a boat into, shallow water, oyster bed, for example, or just, getting the boat to dock, having fingers smashed between the boat and the dock, propeller injuries.
Day, who teaches marine science to students through the nonprofit Manta, says the ocean is beautiful but unforgiving.
The natural world is very unpredictable. Just like people are unpredictable, animals are unpredictable. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and pay attention.
McQueen says he's already planning his next trip to the islands and says he's not afraid of barracudas, but he is changing one habit.
I should have just dipped that bowl in the water, gone back and just cleaned it in the kitchen instead of shaking it up and doing what I did.
McQueen is thankful for the outcome of this story. As for that barracuda, he and Day decided to let it go, joking that picking a fight with a barracuda army just wasn't worth losing another thumb. Reporting for Live 5 News, I'm Katie Kamen.